Detroit in Macomb County, Michigan, a concert, a Woodstock tribute band. It's where we find Laura Chidsey, who says she once considered herself a hippie and is now a retired Defense Department employee.
You are a Republican.
Yes.
And in 2020, did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yes.
2016 also?
Yes.
And now this year, had you planned to vote for Donald Trump?
Well, I did. Now, tables might turn.
With Kamala Harris?
Yes.
So you're not sure?
Not sure. So I gotta research a little more.
But you like Kamala Harris?
Yes, I do.
Macomb County, where nearly 900,000 people live, has gone for Donald Trump the last 2 presidential elections, and Barack Obama for the 2 before that. In the last 20 presidential elections, Republicans have won 10, Democrats have won 10. So we took a tour of this key county to see what voters make of the dramatic developments in the presidential race. What we saw was a lot of reflection. John Maher is a retired Marine, a Vietnam War veteran, a political independent.
Before Kamala Harris got in the race, were you undecided, or did you know who you were going to vote for president?
I was definitely leaning towards Trump before she got in.
And now how do you feel now that she's in?
I'm waffling a little bit.
At a beach park at Lake St. Clair,
Well, that's over the fence.
we find a family with 3 generations enjoying the day. Mark Crook is the patriarch.
You're an independent, but after the debate, you were considering voting for Donald Trump.
Correct. Yep. It just the debacle of it. It was a disaster for
So
sure.
now that Kamala Harris is in the race, are you still leaning towards voting for Donald Trump?
No. I think I'm gonna go Kamala.
And it isn't just those who are leaning toward Donald Trump who are having second thoughts.
You're a Democrat, but you were considering voting for RFK Jr.
Yes,
and not Joe Biden.
right.
We met Donna Charlton at a skate park, where she watched her grandson test his limits.
So now that Kamala Harris is in the race, how do you feel about it?
Great. I'll vote for her.
At Hendrickson's driving range, we meet a golfer who says he's a left-leaning independent who had been leaning towards not voting for president. But now Rob Abrams feels he will vote for Kamala Harris.
I like that she's young. I like that she can put 2 sentences together. I like that she can speak with conviction.
At the Sterling Heights Stellantis assembly plant in Macomb County, where they assemble the Ram 1500, it's shift change time for the union workers. While many are enthused about Kamala Harris,
I say give her a chance. Let's see what she can do.
we did run into plenty of fervent Trump supporters who say the new challenger has only made them more enthused about the former president.
Does Kamala Harris getting in the race change the equation at all for either of you?
Change it, it ruins it. If she gets in, we're done. So
Done with what?
America's done for.
And back at the 60s concert,
I'm a stronger supporter of Donald Trump because Kamala Harris is in the race.
meanwhile, the Vietnam vet who has been leaning toward Donald Trump says he will be paying close attention to the news in the days and weeks to come.
Her getting in the race, though, has basically opened up your mind.
Yes, it has.
And Garrett Tuchman joins me now. It's interesting you found evidence of sort of her entering into the race, energizing to people on both sides of the political aisle in terms of thinking, energizing them to support Trump more or, to switch support.
Very energetic people we talk to in Michigan, and that's what's really interesting. It's not just people who like Kamala Harris, it's also people who don't like Kamala Harris. They all wanted to be heard. When we travel around the country over the last several months talking about this race and interviewing voters, there's a lot of voters who are shy or reticent and just don't want to appear on camera. We didn't see very much of that. People really wanted to talk about it. They're very interested in what's become of this presidential race.
I want to know what the cover band, who they're going to vote. Garrett Tuchman, thanks for
Magic.
We're not afraid of weird people. No. We're a little bit creeped out, but we're not afraid.
It's not about her or her opponent, really. It's no matter what kind of weird stuff they keep saying.
Donald Trump has been resorting to some wild lies about my record, and some of what he and his running mate are saying, well, it's just plain weird.
The new talking point, weird, which seems to have been started, at least as far as I can tell, by Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, who is on Kamala Harris's shortlist to be her vice president. After he called Donald Trump and J.D. Vance weird, he seemed to set off something of a trend among national Democrats. Walz, if you do not know, is a veteran and a gun owner and a former public school teacher with close ties to organized labor, and he joins us now. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Governor, thanks so much for joining us. Mr. Trump and Mr. Vance were in your home state last night. Democratic-funded polling I saw earlier this month showed Minnesota, which has not gone for a Republican president since Nixon, within half a percentage point if Biden was the nominee. Now Harris is a nominee, and a new Fox poll shows Harris is leading Donald Trump in Minnesota by 6 points. Why do you think she's so much more competitive in Minnesota than Joe Biden was?
Well, look, good morning, Jake. Thanks for having me. Look, there's a burst of energy out here. Joe Biden, we've heard it, he delivered across the board on so many issues, but there's a new burst of energy. I was at a labor rally yesterday, and I've not seen anything like this for 15 years. And what you saw out in St. Cloud yesterday with Donald Trump and J.D. Vance is the same old nonsense, just talking points and denigrating folks. And I think she's more boosted because she's bringing a positive vision. Look, we care about what happens to your kids. We care about the environment. We care about job creation. So it's just a whole new vibe to the campaign. And I think these guys, there isn't going to be a pivot because they don't have any new plans. So this is what you're going to see. I think Minnesota always competitive, but we're certainly going to win.
So you've gotten some attention this week for calling Trump and Vance and Republicans in general weird. And I think that you're the one that set this tone. And there's this shift. The Harris campaign seems to be following your lead, echoing this language. Why do you think weird is a more effective attack line against